Welcome to the Critical Thinkers podcast. The opening statement comes from one of our earlier videos, Jehovah's Witnesses, and the free home Bible study. How much did it really cost you? If you haven't had a chance to view this video, be sure to do so.
We often refer to how everything was free. And it's interesting that you really don't realize it until you actually leave the organization, that while it wasn't free, it was a very, very high price that you had to pay. I guess really it often starts with when a person first is introduced to Jehovah's Witnesses. We used to ask that question to people as Bible studies. Do you have 1 hour a week that you can spare for God? And it's interesting how it starts off with 1 hour and it literally becomes your entire life that you have to give over to this religion.
Hey, this is Lady C.
Hey, this is JT.
Welcome to our first episode of Feedback from Viewers.
Yes.
In this episode, we're going to talk about one of our videos that we've done previously, and we're going to entertain some of the comments that people had in this video. And the video was about the free home Bible study. How much did it really cost you?
Some of you may remember the video because we talked about the price that one pays for that free Bible study that Jehovah's Witnesses often introduce to people at the door. And we talked about, for example, tithing. In many denominations, they tithe about 10%. And we know for witnesses, they're encouraged many times to actually quit their jobs, which amounts to much more than 10%. The opportunities, missed opportunities are some of the things that we discuss. And so some of our viewers, they took the opportunity to post. And what they did, they shared how they themselves and their families paid a very high price for that quote-unquote free Bible study.
So in this segment of feedback from viewers, we had a lot of people that commented. In fact, we had over 600 comments that was made on this video. And so it was very, very difficult going through all of the comments to pick out the ones that really kind of stood out. And so we want to just share a few of those with you and helping you to see what some people said. Because when you are part of this religion, and when we first started out with Critical Thinkers, and our goal was to bring people together to help them to see that they are not alone. And knowing that the things that we learned from the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, they try to make it seem like it was all in our head. And no, it's not. So collectively, we want to share your thoughts. And here they are.
One of the viewers, Rosa, she made an interesting comment. She said, it's kind of funny and sad and ironic that a small-town lawyer over 100 years ago got employed by the founder of a book-selling corporation. And because the book-selling corporation was selling the end of the world and it didn't happen, that same lawyer, now tied hook, line, and sinker to the corporation, decided to take the corporation over at the death of his employer to ensure his money flow and kept the scam going, living a life of opulence off the backs of people that he duped into moving books and papers of the corporation and dying at the age of 72 in 1942. Then, young people that he enthralled grew up to continue the book-selling corporation, the end of the world scam, to another generation. And that is so true. The Watchtower has been doing this for 140 years.
It was really interesting what Stephen W. said.
My mom is still a Jehovah's Witness since 1984. I showed her some of your videos, and she said that she can tell you guys were definitely Jehovah's Witnesses because of the way you explain everything.
One viewer that goes by the name Awake Since 1949, he really summed it up. I thought it was very nice the way he put it. He says,
I find great joy when a cult member asks me why I left. I tell them that it's not my job to give out information that they are too lazy to find for themselves.
Kay Hill Pembry said,
you guys were one of the first videos I came across when I was waking up. I remember thinking, wow, these are apostates? I was literally scared. I clicked off, but kept coming back. I felt like a dark cloud was going to swallow me up. Now that I'm out, I love you guys. Thank you for what you do.
Even young people are taking the time to examine the internet. One young person's name is Pedro Suarez. He said,
I'm so happy you are making these videos. I'm still a Jehovah Witness because I'm 19 and still live with my parents. I'm happy that I woke up. I'm going to use my time and energy to help myself and people around me while I still can. Once I'm out of my parents' house, I'm exiting this cult.
And Jason Israel had this to say.
Suddenly one day I realized that I had to separate my problems from my commitments to the organization. And I thought to myself, this is not of God. Something is not right here. I started to research the organization and I found you guys.
a person by the name Ukla the monk made an interesting comment.
This hits home with a loud thud. My parents are dead and they died with nothing. The society lied to them and told them that they would never grow old. They never prepared us to deal with their death or anything other than paradise. I was told in 1973 I would never go to school. The Watchtower has duped us, millions of people. The leadership of this organization are so out of touch.
Joseph B. made an interesting comment. He said,
My dad was an elder, a field service conductor, and the head of the regional building committee. One thing he had lost inside the Watchtower Corporation is time. When he passed away 2 years ago, only 2 of his Jehovah Witnesses friends went for his viewing out of the hundreds that knew him.
I like the way Kat Ballou summed it up.
The opportunity cost of being in Watchtower are crippling. If we don't try getting something back, either employment, education, mismanaged personal relationships, mental and emotional help, you name it, then we can keep paying the price of being a Jehovah Witness long after we walked away. JT's right. Living well is the best revenge.
Wolfgang Martin was so on point when he said,
Mom said, you'll never go to primary school. You'll never go to high school. You're never going to get a job. You'll never have kids. Well, guess what, Mom? I'm 50 this year, and I have 2 grandchildren.
and you know what? I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments and everything because everybody had a different life experience. And I feel like for me personally, I lost the ability to build confidence and self-esteem. Being a Jehovah's Witness, it was like they squashed that because you're always told to look to the elders, your husband, your father, or whatever. And so this meant that you had to second guess yourself, especially as a female, even on down to employment, you know, where you're working at, you know, who you're hanging out with, the activities that you do, even just trying to pursue a career. And basically after I left, I was able to begin to rebuild my confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah, the Free Home Bible Study impacted everybody. Nobody gets out unscathed. And so as we look back at some of the comments of people, how they were impacted, and of course, the theme is think critically. That's how we are able to get out, and it's how we're able to move forward. And we look forward to reviewing some of the other videos and some of the comments and sharing them with you in the days to come, and weeks to come, and months to come, because we think that what these individuals who took the time to watch our videos and the information they left behind, we believe is valuable information to let each and every one of us know, as we always say, you're not by yourself.
So thank you so much for being in our audience. This has been Lady C.
This has been JT.
This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers.